Good afternoon, this is Kevin. I am at May Day. Currently, we're at McKeldin Square in Baltimore, Maryland. The rally starts at 5:30, as we see right here, and we have the march at 6:30. So far, a small crowd is here. And I will be finding people to interview throughout the rally and the march to explain the reasons for why they're here and actually explain what May Day is, because many may not know.
Good afternoon. My name is Andre Powell, and I'm with Workers' World Party and the People's Power Assembly.
Okay, my first question, what brought you out here today?
Well, today, Workers' World Party and People's Power Assembly are together with numerous progressive and left groups are here to celebrate May Day, which is the International Workers' Holiday. It is recognized in every country around the world except for United States and for Israel. Today we are coming here to link arms and show our solidarity, particularly in the United States, with the struggle of the immigrants who are now bombarded by Trump and his administration. They have been forced into detention centers. Several different cities have been deporting them, and once they're actually deported, they're not really deported right away, but they're held in detention centers, and we consider that preventative detention, similar to what the South African apartheid regime did to the South Africans that were fighting against apartheid. They are often held without trial. They're held in, we call them concentration camp-like conditions, and they have no trial date. They don't know when the trial date. Parents have been snatched up. The children have been left without parents. And here in the United States, when there are children that don't have parents to take care of them, they go into a foster care system through social services, many of which around the country are already overburdened. So we're showing our solidarity with them. We're also showing our solidarity with the country of Syria that has been under tremendous attack by the Trump administration. And we stand in solidarity with the Democratic People's Republic of Korea in his maneuvers to try to get them to destroy their nuclear weapons. But we believe the DPRK has a right to have nuclear weapons to defend themselves. They have been under tremendous attack by the United States successive presidential administrations. There are joint military exercises held 2 or 3 times a year between the U.S. and South Korea that are held right off of the coast of North Korea. And these are our military provocations. Right now, the Trump administration is trying to pull Japan and other countries into getting some agreement together saying that North Korea should denuclearize. But everyone should remember the United States is the only country that has ever launched a weapon of mass destruction upon another.
The rally is starting up very soon. They're already getting the banners set up for May Day. I will go around and take a look at the banners. Right here we have a U.S. out of Korea banner. This banner is to end U.S. involvement in the Korean Peninsula, North Korea and South Korea. As seen in one of our interviews, they believe that North Korea should have their right to nuclear weapons. Here are more banners that face the street, as you see, in order to inform people what is going on right here. And then they're also handing out a copy of their newspaper, which I will have a link to at the end of the video. Slowly the crowd is growing. When I first got here, it was very slim to no people. But right now, we are growing. Let's see how the rest of this goes. To be continued.
Hello, my name's David Bard. It's a pleasure to meet you.
All right, David, it's nice to meet you as well. My name is Kevin Hayes. The first question, why are you here today?
So because I believe that people should be able to get a decent living wage. I think that $15 an hour should really be the minimum that anybody makes here in Baltimore. As a person who recently moved to Baltimore and experienced a little bit of sticker shock when I saw $1,000 rents, I think that $15 is really the smallest amount that a person can make and be able to afford to survive. And people should also be able to do more than just survive. You should have time to spend with your families, to meet someone to start a family with, to find loved ones, and to, go on a vacation or have a weekend once in a while. I think that those are things that everybody should have and that we can have. There are many cities across the United States that have already gone to $15 an hour. Most famously in Seattle, which is where I'm from. We managed to get $15 an hour passed by referendum. And it's worked great, despite all of the naysayers who said, oh, the economy is going to crash and the whole place is going to turn into Mad Max in a few years. It hasn't. Well, Seattle has still got a higher quality of life than cities that don't have a $15 an hour minimum wage.
Like Baltimore.
Like Baltimore. We also have things like secure sick leave in the city, which is where, if you think about fast food workers, right? Somebody works at Subway, say, I'm just pulling a fast food restaurant out of the top of my head, not for any particular reason, just because it's the first one I thought of, right? Well, if that person has a loved one at home, like a child or a partner, right, that's sick, right, they know that they could be prodromal. They could be shedding the same virus before they exhibit any symptoms, or bacterial. And they know they probably shouldn't go to work, particularly around food. But at the same time, when you're making so little money, and if you call off work, that means your boss might fire you or might not give you the hours you need to make rent. Or that day, even if they do give you off, you're not getting paid for that day, you miss the wages that day would have brought in. That can make the difference between 1 month's rent and the next, and you could wind up facing eviction as a result. So many people show up to work sick, right? Well, this is bad for everybody. Do you really want the person who's making your sandwich at Subway to be coughing and sneezing foodborne bacteria into your food just because they're not protected when they seek sick leave to go home and spend time off and to get better and to heal and recuperate? I think it makes more sense for everybody to have laws that make it easier for workers to do the responsible thing, like stay home when they're sick, right? As well as I think it's also important that we pay people what they need in order to survive, so that people don't have to have like 3 or 4 different jobs just to be able to barely make it in this city, or any city really. I think that healthcare is a basic human right and everybody should have access to it. I believe that we should work together as a society for the common benefit, that we should do as many things as we can to support one another. If you look here, we're at a public park here, right? And it's a really beautiful park. I was just talking before we began this interview about how nice it is and how they've recently completed it. And this is an example of what we can do if we all band together, because this park was paid for by us, by the taxpayers, by people that work and live in Baltimore, right? And it works, when we all pull together as a team. And that can hold true for any other service that we want to offer, whether that's healthcare, whether that's the fire department, whether it's a beautiful park like this. We can do better as long as we stand together, right? But we have to work together as a team to do that. And May Day, which is the event that we're here to celebrate, is based around that very idea. The idea that we're all here to work together for the common good, for each other. If you like to think of it this way, love thy neighbor as thyself put into action is what May Day is all about.
All right, David, thank you very, very much. Really appreciate it. You gave a lot of information.
Thank you.
I feel like everyone can benefit from that, because we do have to love our neighbors, because we are all one neighbor on this big blue ball we call Earth.
That's right. Yes, I am my brother's keeper.
Hello, my name is Cody Webb.
Hi, Cody. I understand that you're an alumni of UMBC?
Yes, that's correct.
That's cool. Okay, why are you here?
I'm here today to raise awareness about May Day, International Labor Day. Most countries around the U.S. celebrate Labor Day today on this day, and I'm here to celebrate that long tradition and to try to get the message out about progressive issues in the United States and abroad.
Okay. Can you explain what May Day is keep it in layman's terms for those who do not know?
Sure, it's a celebration of the working class and working class values, as well as a celebration of the struggle in the past and the ongoing struggle for labor issues. The Haymarket Square events for the 8-hour workday in Chicago were the genesis of this holiday. And
around the world, recognized by every country in the world except the United States and Israel. May Day began as the fight for the 8-hour day because back in the 1800s people were working 12, 16 hours a day, which was really way too much. And now I'm up to date, as our brother Kermit just mentioned, maybe we need to raise the issue of taking it from an 8-hour day to a 4-hour day, thereby gaining full employment. So we want 4 hours pay for 8 hours pay for 4 hours work. Oh gosh, I should have had my Wheaties this morning. But anyway, thank you all for coming out, and we're going to open our rally. We have several speakers that are going to come here to give their May Day greetings. Just let you know that they are marching all around the world in solidarity. We're working in solidarity with every country around the world for May Day. And our first speaker will be Daisy from Women and Oppressed Genders organization. Women and Oppressed Genders Network. Women and Oppressed Genders Fight Back Network.
All right.
Hello, everyone. Very happy to be. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Very happy to be here with all of you today. I'm here to read our demands for this year's May Day. We're starting with workers' rights now. We demand decent wages and a $15 minimum wage now. Support teachers and striking workers. Defend workers' rights to unionize, including prisoners. No Janus. Decriminalize sex work. No privatization of postal services. Support postal workers and community demands for postal banking. Jobs program for all. Alright. Next item. End racism and police terror. Disband and abolish the corrupt Baltimore Police Department.
As you see, they're making their demands of what they will want.
These are our demands.
These demands are
I'm glad that you're all on
extremely
board.
leftist in nature. You can tell about that.
Thank you very much.
And these are something that you see conservative politics would highly be against. These demands are something that not everybody can get along with, but this is what they want.
Jobs, not war. Say no to U.S. imperialism. U.S. out of the Middle East, Africa, Asia, the Global South, and the Caribbean. No war on Syria, Korea, Venezuela, Russia, or China. Close all U.S. military bases around the world and return Guantanamo to Cuba and free Puerto Rico.
Due to technical difficulties, the rest of the video was cut short as my iPhone overheated. So to wrap up, during this political event, we saw the very left liberal side of politics, with there being the Green Party and other liberal organizations. We see their demands, and we also spoke to some of their leaders and some of their membership. But honestly, what are your opinions of this? As someone who comes from a very moderate background, I see a lot of different things here. I see things that I agree with, and I see things at the same time that I can say are very far out and out there. But honestly, this was a great experience. And I feel like everyone should have the experience to see and talk to people who are not on the same political leaning as them. As it expands our minds and expands our knowledge. Thank you and have a good night.